We're standing on a spectacular historical tract in the middle of Chancellorsville battlefield. In the spring of 1863, Lee, facing the longest odds he faced during the whole war until its last few weeks of about 2 1/4 to 1, came west from Fredericksburg to Chancellorsville, where Hooker's army had gotten him round behind him, came up with the notion that he would break his much outnumbered army into a couple of pieces and send Stonewall Jackson all the way across the county around the horizon on the daring flank march. That he even tried that is amazing. That he got away with it is doubly amazing. And at 5:15 or so on the afternoon of the 2nd of May, Jackson, with nearly 30,000 men and more than 100 pieces of artillery, was in the woods, in the thickets, about a mile west of us here, ready to launch the attack that was really the high water mark, the Army of Northern Virginia. And when those troops came boiling out of the woods, they routed the Federal 11th Corps and pushed them back past Wilderness Church, a few hundred yards west of where we're standing, to this ground. The Federals trying to rally, although they were outflanked by a mile on either side in their position along the historic Orange Turnpike, which is just a few yards to our left here. Outnumbered though they were, they tried to make a stand, and the most concentrated effort that they made was in this vicinity. The Bushback Line, as it came to be called after one of the officers who helped to establish it and rally it, was probably just in the vicinity of these crests immediately to the east of us here, perpendicular to the road. There were more than enough Confederates with more than enough momentum, strength, and position to drive them away, but they made that stand here. The tract that we're standing on, the Wagner tract, encompasses more than 80 acres, has a huge extent of frontage on what is today Route 3, what historically was both the Orange Turnpike and the Orange Plank Road here, the two of them running on the same track. And its western edge is right next to Wilderness Church, which I can see in the distance. Its eastern edge reaches on toward the direction where, as dusk fell, Jackson's mighty flank attack ground to a halt under the weight of its own inertia and under the advent of darkness, and where Jackson soon thereafter was mortally wounded. This Wagner tract, with the huge frontage, all of it potentially commercial property, it seems to me to be the most important tract anywhere in central Virginia, and the fact that CWPT has saved it is just unbelievably exciting. Jackson rode through this tract. Along the road, the episodes we hear about, him stopping with wounded or mortally wounded Confederates and talking to them, surely would have taken place in this vicinity. The Dowdall's Tavern, the home of the Reverend Melzi Chancellor, pastor of Wilderness Church, was just across the road from us here. The historic drawings that include the Dowdall's Tavern, Melzi Chancellor's home, give us good context for this area. And here is where the Confederate Army of Northern Virginia experienced its greatest day of the war, and Stonewall Jackson's last, of course, because he was mortally wounded at the end of this attack just a few hundred yards on to the east of us.